Hi, I appreciate you joining me today. This is Esther from Stampin Star Creations. Today I'm making a card for an online Facebook group, which is the Stampin' Up Colour Challenge. And for this particular challenge, we are using Real Red, Shaded Spruce and Whisper White. I'm cheating a bit with the Real Red and using the light Cherry Cobbler blender pen because that's the only red that I had closest to the colour, and using the Rooted in Nature stamp set as well as a few more later on. So I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here, measuring 3 3/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm just lining up my massive post-it notes to act as a mask, and I try and line them up and I put them upside down because I found this easier to try and stick them down. And I thought, what am I doing? I can use the grid lines on the paper to help me know exactly where to put these lines and get a straighter line than I was trying to get by guessing. Going in with the Embossing Buddy to just clear that area and make it nice and smooth and non-static. Using the double trees out of the stamp set and going in with Versamark ink, which is what you need to use when you're doing embossing. I like to go off the page just so it gives it a more natural look of a print. And then going in with the white embossing powder. I know white on white is a bit impossible to see, but all will be revealed later on. I'm using the sponge brayers, and as you can see the sponges can come off and you can interchange those with the handles, and using the shaded spruce to add a bit of colour onto there. Now I already used this sponge with some blue before, so I was just trying to make sure that it didn't transfer too much onto my page. So concentrating at the bottom because I wanted an ombre look with it to be darker at the bottom and then working my way up to lighter at the top. Now I haven't sped this part of the video up so it gives you a real-time view of how long these things take to actually do. Now, as you can see, I've managed to get embossing powder on my ink pad. When I rolled my roller off the page, it caught the embossing powder on my scrap piece of paper underneath. So note to self and note to you, just watch out for that because I've got the job now of trying to get the embossing powder off my ink pad. So in order to lighten up those trees again, I'm just using a dry, soft cloth to rub over the trees. You can use a kitchen towel or whatever you've got to hand. And then I'm going in again with the embossing, the heat tool, to emboss the trees, and this just brings them back to being white again. This part I slowed down. I love masking and I love the big reveal. So this just shows you what's underneath. I'm using the blend pen and I'm just dotting some, in my head I thought they were going to be lights, but in the end I decided they're going to be more like berries. I was trying to be as random as possible, and I even go back in and add a bit more to that first tree. I did do it quite sparse at first, but then I thought actually things like berries tend to come in clumps, so I did go in and just add a few more to that first tree. This just brings the whole tree to life and incorporates all the colours that I was using for the challenge. Next I decided to bring in the Waterfront stamp set. I felt that my card needed something, so with a bit of artistic licence I've gone for a green moon or a green sun, depending on what you want it to be. And then I bring back the masking, and I'm afraid I skipped a bit and I forgot to press the record button after I paused this, so I used the speckled stamp in the set with some white embossing to create a snowy effect from the top half of the image. Making sure my lid goes onto my embossing. And I didn't slow this reveal down. I'm using my knuckle just to make sure that I haven't got any ink on my fingers, which typically would happen to me, and I'd end up smudging a card at this point, especially simple cards. I'm using the 'Tis the Season from the Itty Bitty Greetings and using the Real Red to stamp that. Mount it with just a thin border of Real Red and then onto some thick Whisper White cardstock to complete my card. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Thank you so much for sticking out to the end. Let me know what you think about my card and whether you've made any Christmas cards. And you can catch me at my YouTube channel and on Facebook and on my blog. And if you want to shop with me, head over to stampinstylecreations.co.uk. Have a great day.